No!
Absolutely insane. I can't believe it.
Magnus is like, how did this just happen? This was the most unbelievable endgame yet.
Have you ever seen a mic drop in chess? This was one of them.
Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are watching a spectacular game between Magnus Carlsen, who was playing with white, his opponent, an archenemy, Hikaru Nakamura. The game was played at SpeedChess Championship, an online tournament held by chess.com, and we are going straight into the game. Magnus opened the game with e4, we have e5, knight f3, knight c6 for black. We have bishop b5 for Magnus, and we are in Ruy Lopez Spanish game. We have knight f6, this is the Berlin defense. Magnus now castles, and we have knight picking up on e4. In this position, Magnus decided to play d4, which is a book move and one of the best moves. Also, white is able to play rook e1 here and pressure this pawn. So after d4, game continued with knight d6, which is again common theme in this sort of opening and a book move as well, attacking this bishop. White now trades for this knight. We have d takes on c6, and we have d picking up on e5 right now, attacking this knight, which is a really common theme in this opening because white will exchange queens with the black, but black will have a great drawing chances if everything is played correctly, and that is why people usually play this sort of Ruy Lopez variation. So after knight goes on f5, we have queen picking up on d8 for Magnus, king picks up on d8, and knight c3 played for Magnus Carlsen. Of course, as you see, black lost the right to castle. He will have to satisfy with artificial castling, but at least he has a drawing tendencies. This endgame has a drawing tendencies. We have bishop d7 for black. We have h3 for Magnus Carlsen, and now king c8. Computer marks this as an inaccuracy and actually recommends playing h6 and blocking this knight from coming on g5 square. Of course, our game continued with king c8. We have b3 for Magnus. We have h6 now for Nakamura. Our game continued with bishop b2 for Magnus, developing this bishop, and also this is going to be a nice diagonal with protection of this pawn. Once it's opened, this bishop is gonna be really strong. We have b6 for black. Knight e2 for Magnus Carlsen. Magnus wants to reroute his knight to f4. Game continued with a5 now for Hikaru. We have knight f4, Magnus's original idea, and right now we have a4 played for Nakamura with the idea to create some sort of counterplay and open the a file here. And right now we have e6, a proper move by Magnus Carlsen. Magnus now opens this diagonal and temporarily sacrifices this pawn, which later will be taken because black will not be able to defend it. Of course, I will show you. So game continued with bishop picking up on e6, and right now we have knight picking up on e6 for Magnus, f picks up on e6, and rook f to e1 is played. Right now Hikaru continues with the best move, and that is rook g8. Just wanted to show you, after rook f goes on e1, if you play something like king d7 to protect this pawn, then white has a knight e5 check, and right now you have to make a decision. You have to be careful because if you go on d8, white has this check and a fork, so you have to go on e8. After this move, knight g6 is another option for white. White can also pick up this pawn, and with huge initiative for white, so that is the reason why this pawn will not be, you will not be able to protect it as black, and Hikaru sees that. Of course, he plays rook g8. We have rook picking up on e6, and right now g5 was played for Hikaru. Computer recommends bishop c5. This pawn is loose and will not be able, black will not be able to defend it, but g5 is played here, and we have g4 right now, counter-attacking this knight. Computer sees this as a miss and actually recommends simply picking up this pawn. Whatever is free, you should pick it up. So we have a knight going on d6. Right now this is no longer a possibility. King g2 played for Magnus, and right now Hikaru plays king b7. Computer marks this as an inaccuracy and actually recommends playing c5 with the idea just to protect this pawn and later to be able to move this knight somewhere better. Of course, this wasn't played. King b7 was played for Hikaru. We have bishop e5 now for Magnus Carlsen. We have a trade a takes on b3, a takes on b3, and rook e8 was played for Hikaru Nakamura. Right now Hikaru offers a trade of the rooks. Magnus accepts. We have knight picking up on e8, and right now rook goes on e1 for Magnus Carlsen. Game continued with c5 for Hikaru. Computer sees this as an inaccuracy and actually recommends playing rook g6 here as a better alternative. Of course, deep calculations by the computer. We have h4 right now played for Magnus Carlsen, and g takes on h4 was played for black. We have king h3, a really important move. You definitely don't want to rush, and you definitely don't want to risk it. I will show you after this. If you decide to pick up this with your knight, then black simply has rook picking up on g3, and after you have to play king h3, right now black can simply go rook g8, and black is doing perfectly fine. He equalized the game and he's slightly better. So king h3 is the right idea for Magnus. We have knight going on d6 for Hikaru. We have knight picking up on h4, and right now h5 was played for Hikaru Nakamura. Computer sees this as a slight inaccuracy. Computer recommends playing c4 here and opening the game with your knight invading here and trying to create a counterplay with possible knight invasions later in the game. This knight will definitely be much better on c4 here. We have g picks up on h5, and right now rook g5 was played. That was the idea behind the sacrifice. Right now both of these pieces are under attack. We have knight going on g6 for Magnus. Everything is protected for now. Bishop h6 was played for Hikaru, and bishop f4 was played for Magnus Carlsen. Right now Hikaru decided to pick up this pawn on h5. By the way, after this move, computer doesn't recommend this, and actually recommends playing knight f4. Again, everything is defended, and this is a much better alternative for white. Of course, this was a SpeedChess Championships. Times were really low and you cannot see everything. So after bishop f4 for Magnus Carlsen, Hikaru picks up this pawn with a check. We have king g4, another important move, moving your king closer because we are getting closer to this endgame. This could transpire in all sorts of endgames, so it's always best to have an active king. And right now, a great move by Hikaru Nakamura, rook f5, holding the position and not allowing this king to further invade in the position. We have bishop picking up on d6, and right now firstly played rook g5 for Hikaru, another important move. Position is now dead equal by computer evaluation. We have king h4 and c picks up on d6. Right now this knight is also under attack. Magnus decided to defend it with rook e6. Computer sees this as a slight inaccuracy and actually recommend playing this knight on e7 as a better option, but rook e6 was played for Magnus Carlsen. We have rook g2 for Hikaru. We have rook picking up on d6 for Magnus Carlsen. Rook picks up on f2, and we have c4 played for white. Hikaru now plays rook b2, wanting to pressure this pawn. Magnus ignores this, and he wants to create a mating net around Hikaru's king with knight e7. We have bishop f4 played for Hikaru, rook d7 check. King is forced to go back, and right now knight c6 with the idea to checkmate on a7. So a very risky situation for Hikaru. We have bishop b8, the only move to defend the position. The position is completely equal, by the way, still. Rook d8 was played for Magnus, and right now king b7 was played. So Hikaru actually gives up this bishop. The only way you can actually pick up this bishop is with your knight. If you pick up with your rook, black will simply pick up your knight, and that's perfectly fine for him. Your pawn will fall, so you have to pick up with your knight, and we have a rook picking up on b3. Now, although Magnus is up in material, this is hard to actually draw because black will have two passed pawns. So we have king g5 played for Magnus. We have rook c3. Rook h8 was played for Magnus. We have king c7 here, and we have king f5 right now played for Magnus Carlsen. Game continued with rook picking up on c4. Still the position by computer evaluation is dead equal because white has a knight for these two pawns, but this knight is kind of stuck here and he has to find a place really fast. And right now Magnus continues with king e6 with this idea to put this knight on d7. We have rook d4 just played for black to not allow this sort of moves, and now we have king e5 played for Magnus Carlsen with the idea to attack this rook and just simply ask Hikaru where he will go. Hikaru plays rook d1, he keeps the rook on this d file, really important because you block the advancement of this knight. Knight can of course go on a6 if he wants to, but for now he cannot come here. Game continued with knight a6 for Magnus. We have king b7 for Hikaru. Magnus now plays the only move if he wants to save his knight, which is knight b8. again, this knight is really stuck here and it's hard to remove him from this side of the board. Game continued with c4, Hikaru pushes, and right now we have a huge blunder by Magnus, and that is king e6. Unfortunately, with this move, this is a huge blunder because black is winning after this move. And we have c3 played right now for Hikaru Nakamura. You cannot put your rook here. Unfortunately, it is defended. Your knight is unable to escape, and you are in big sort of trouble right now as white. We have knight played on d7. We have c2 for Hikaru Nakamura. Rook b8 was played for Magnus Carlsen, and king c7 was the last move of the game, where Magnus decided to resign because there is simply no way to stop the promotion of this queen. I can simply show you, but it's really easy. So after this move, if you play rook on a8, black will simply promote and it's game over. You can give a few checks and that's it. You are done here as black. And this is all I have prepared for you today. If you enjoyed this game, please make sure to leave a comment, like and share it with someone who likes chess, because word of referrals like this really help my channel grow, and I couldn't do it without your help, so thank you so much in advance, guys. I really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts and your questions about this game. Have I missed something in analysis? This could have happened. By the way, if you're interested about the final result, Magnus actually won this SpeedChess Championship, and he dethroned Hikaru Nakamura, because he was up until now the best bullet chess player ever. So we will see what will happen next year in the next tournaments, of course. But for now, Magnus managed to win this tournament against Hikaru. I'm also going to show you one more game from this tournament, a really important game where Hikaru sacrificed a spectacular queen sacrifice for an attack on Magnus's king. Another really great game. Looking forward to that, and I'm sure you will enjoy it as well. And again, thank you so much for watching, and we will see each other in the next video. I wish you a pleasant day. Bye bye.